Hi everyone, today we have an arithmetic sequence paper 1 style question. So on 1st of January in a particular year, Ava invests $25,000 in a new bank account. The account earns 5% simple interest on the original $25,000 at the start of each subsequent year. The amounts in the account at the start of each year form an arithmetic sequence. Find the common difference of this sequence. So essentially, after the first year, she's going to have 25,000 times 0.05, that's 5% interest. She's going to have that extra. And then on the second year, she's going to have that same original dollar amount, which we're going to find in a second, because it's simple interest. So if I go to my calculator and I do 25,000 times 0. This is 1,250. It's worth 2 marks. So you would need to say that D, the common difference, is 25,000 times 0.05, which equals $1,250. So after the first year, she's got 26,250. After the second year, she's going to add on 1,250 each time. Okay, for part B, after K completed years, the amount in Ava's account will be greater than $44,000 for the first time. So K is in completed years, so that would be discrete data, right? So let's keep that in mind. Find the value of K. Well, we're going to have 44,000 is less than 25,000, which was the original amount, plus 1,250, which is the amount that she's earning per year, and we're going to multiply that by K because we're not sure how many years that it's going to take. So 44,000 is less than 25,000 plus 1,250 times K. Now if I go to my calculator, graph, and we want to change this first one, there's multiple ways you could do it, but I like just changing it. So we've got y equals. Now I'm going to change the type up the top. I'm going to go next menu, and looking back at my equation, the y value is 44,000. So we're going to have y is less than. So I'm going to press the second option, y is less than. Now I'm going to type in my equation, 25,000 plus 1,250 times x, press equals. Let's draw that and see what we get. Just quickly check the view window. So view window goes from 0 to 60,000. I had already changed this before we started the question. So 60,000, why have I chosen 60? Because I need a number that's larger than 44,000. And I don't know how many years it's going to take. So I've just done from 0 to 50, and then we'll see what we get in a moment. Now let's go exit out of that, exit again. I need to draw another line. This is how I like to do it. So change the type to equals, and this line is going to be the line when y is 44,000, because that's the number that we're trying to solve for. So press draw. Now you should have 2 lines. If I go gsolve, intersection, I get an intersection right when k equals 15.2. 15.2 is not a valid answer for this because it says after k completed years. So we would need to round that up to 16. So k has to equal 16 completed years. Looking at the marking guide for this, you get an answer for setting up your inequality correctly. You get an answer or you get a mark rather, for attempting to solve it or sketching it. or an algebraic manipulation. So you should say in your calculator a nice little sketch of this inequality. So you would need to label these things nice and accurately, and then I would shade that region. Now you're going to need to label your axis points. So we're going from 0 to 50, and we're going from 0 to, let's say, 60,000. And you would also need to say that the y-intercept is 25,000. So 25,000 down there. And how do I know that? Because your equation before had a c value of 25,000. So the intersection point over here, you want to, when you're drawing this, you want to make sure that it's nice and neat, is the point 15.2, comma 44,000. And then for good measure, you should also put your calculator steps. So GDC, graph, and then graph the two equations, or the one inequality, the other equation, and state your final answer. And that's this question.